Watch out, this podcast may contain adult content. So, if you're not a mature audience, maybe go audience somewhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Case, an investigative television podcast with me and Casey. Today's episode is brought to you by Altered Reality Entertainment. They are the creators of Empire State Comic-Con. You can check out the full guest list and get more information at escomiccon.com. One final thing, who is me? I'm Elijah, but that's not important because today's episode is actually about Jamie Lannister. We're going to go ahead and give you guys all kinds of information you need to know ahead of the final season of Game of Thrones. But Casey, tell us about Jamie Lannister.
So Jamie Lannister has become one of my favorite characters in the show and the books. He's a very interesting, intricate character. He starts off, and you think you've got him pegged. He's this big, arrogant jerk. He's been just the best at what he does as like the fighter of the century forever. And he answers really to no one except for his father, which we don't find out for a while. But then he gets humbled real bad by basically sitting in his own shit for a year and then getting stumped real hard. And he doesn't know who he is without his hand. He loses his kids. He loses his girl. He gets his girl back, loses her again. I mean, he's all over the place.
This is drama.
Yeah.
That's why people like Game of Thrones, because there's so
Exactly.
much drama. Okay, I noticed two things. One, you did not mention yet how hot he is.
Oh, he's so gorgeous.
He's so hot. Two,
Because my heart was fluttering.
Yes, yeah. It's two. You did not say, because you said he answers to no one. He does answer to one thing, and that's the punani of his twin sister.
Royal punani.
Yes, he answers to the ladies.
Yeah, the one in particular, the one he's been in love with since he was a kid. Maybe from in utero, but yeah, him and his twin sister.
How early did they love each other?
A very strange connection. Basically, especially when you hear Cersei talk about how when they were kids, they were unrecognizable apart from each other.
Yeah, that's weird. Isn't that weird? Like you'd look at yourself and be like, I'm hot, so you're like weird.
That's I've had that theory about people in general who date people that look like them. They're just really into themselves. But
Yeah,
they
that's
can't
weird.
date themselves.
There's a lot of people who are like that.
Yeah.
Who date someone who it's super weird. But hey, who are we to judge Jamie?
Normal people. So we have plenty of room to judge Jamie.
Okay, so what else would you say Jamie is known for? So
Jamie is known for
fighting a bear
with one hand. He was the greatest swordsman around. Maybe some could say Barristan Selmy still had him, but Barristan was getting older. He proved himself at a very young age. I think he was 14 or 15 when he was knighted. Then he became, Kingsguard. He was the youngest to do that. But he also is known for stabbing Aerys Targaryen in the back.
the Kingslayer.
That's why he got the Kingslayer
That's what
name.
I want. He's known for being a Kingslayer.
More so than his regular name, people call him Kingslayer.
Just
and
quick,
it's
do you think he's
terrible.
done kingslaying, or do you think it's like a drug? Like once you have a little bit, you're like, oh, well, I've had heroin once, I better go ahead and have it a bunch of times.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think he did it, and that's the thing about Jamie is he works in this gray area. That's what Game of Thrones is famous for. He's not all good. He's not all bad. He's a dude who sometimes does what he thinks is right, but most of the time does what he thinks is right for him. And in that moment, he was doing what he thought was right. He was like, I can either kill my dad, and I could save like 1 million people by killing this crazy old fuck that wants me to burn down the city and defend him. And it's sad that his whole life he's been basically hated for doing this one thing that people knew the
saved
truth
millions
of
of people.
Yeah, he's like, I saved all of you guys.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
if you had to, in your bones, if you could feel it right now, do you think he slays another king, or is he done, or queen, or is he,
Oh man. Well,
is he competing, or is he doing any more regicide or homicide? Is he doing any more asides?
Well, I mean, the Valonqar prophecy is pretty clear in the books about who's gonna kill Cersei. It's got to be a little brother or little sibling of some sort. My money's on him, so he might, but he's definitely not getting the Night King. That guy's
Give me a yes or no. Is he
Yes.
he's slaying at least one more? So you're going over 0.5. Another king slayed.
Well, let's just put it this way. Whenever he puts on an outfit, boy is slaying. Okay,
Yeah.
because he is gorgeous. But yeah, he might be doing some,
All right,
some queen slaying.
So final things. Jamie's connected to probably the most heavily to Cersei, of course. But I'd say the 1A to that is Tyrion, and then the B to that would be Brienne of Tarth. So those are his main connections, his main
And Tywin
squeezes.
Before he.
Well,
bites
these
the
are
dust.
that's the other thing we have to preface, guys. We're only going to talk about going forward. The living
Season
people
8.
heading into the final
Yes,
season.
Tyrion, and he has kind of a connection with Bran, so it'll be interesting to see him reunite with him.
Oh, yes,
Because the last time
pushing-
he did, he pushed him out the window.
I have not thought about that.
Neither has Bran, but he knows it now, so
True.
It's gonna be awkward. He's gonna have some apologies.
Could you imagine he just like rolls up with the horse, just like like greeting him at the gate? It's just Bran, just like, hey, what's up? He's like, nice wheels, man.
This is awkward. Is Brienne here?
Is someone who likes me here?
Please.
All right. So where was he last seen? What was he last?
He was last seen heading north from King's Landing because he found out Cersei lied. She's not doing the right thing, and I think he's finally had enough of her shit, and he's like, does not want to love her anymore. And I think he still does a small part, but I think most of it's gone now. Well,
let's talk about that last scene, because like I kind of believed in that moment that Jamie was going to die in that room. Like, you know, the mountain, he pulls the sword and the music is swelling, like just like in the last finale when she blew everyone up in the freaking church. The music is swelling and the sword's being pulled. I was like, are they really just going to ice Jamie like this right here, right now?
No. And I think that's the point, is like, they wanted you to feel what he was feeling like. And his entire life, he's felt completely safe around her. And he never felt that he was on the chopping block, but now she is so lost, and she is so full of her power that no one is above killing either of her brothers. And he never thought he would be there with her, and I think that's why he left.
And the baby wasn't enough to keep him there.
No, I don't think she even wants him. He never really cared about his kids before either, though.
Well, he couldn't out in the open, right?
He couldn't, but then like everyone hated Joffrey, including him. I mean, it was pretty obvious, and Joffrey had a lot of disdain for him too, because Joffrey didn't know the truth, and then he liked Marcella and didn't really get a chance to bond with her. When he got to, she started spitting up blood real hard.
He seemed to care for it. Like, he seemed to care for them.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, this Cersei potential baby in her belly is like...
Is that enough to stop him from killing her?
No, not that. But like, do you like? He just left. He just left them. So is that going to be something that ultimately makes him go back to her side, or is the bridge burned?
I think it's burned because he didn't leave. She made him leave. She basically said, you stay here, you're dead. And he's like, wow, really? And so now he doesn't get Casterly Rock. He doesn't get his sister's love. He doesn't even know who he is anymore. Except for he knows he's going to do the one thing he could do, which is he's grown into a pretty decent battle commander. We saw that, you know, a little bit, especially with their whole coup against Daenerys' forces last season, where they drained Casterly Rock and took Highgarden. That was amazing. And that was all him being a little bit more Tywin than Jamie that moment. So I think he could be of help in North, and I think he knows that too. And he did say he wanted to die in the hands of the arms of the woman he loved, and I think the one he really loves is in the North.
Okay. All right, so what do you think Jamie's top moment is? Like, what would you say his best?
You know, my favorite acting moment for the character, my favorite moment where you changed almost like in a few minutes.
The definition?
Yeah,
I know where you're going with this.
Is the
it's
bath
steamy.
Scene.
It's steamy. That's what I was going to say. The bathtub is probably the best.
He explains why he had to kill, you know, Aerys, and why he had to save those people, and why he wears that name like a badge of honor to some degree, because he knows he did the right thing in his heart. And it shows you that, you know, he might be lost, he might be incestuous, he might be a murderer, but he did the right thing.
There was reason.
And he took the brunt of it, and he's had to wear it forever.
All right, so you think that's his best moment of the show so far?
So far. Okay. I like that moment a lot. I think that shows his emotional courage more so than like his physical courage, like when he charged the dragon and stuff.
I was going to say, because that's my other, I'm like, I can't believe Jamie is charging Drogon right now. Like, that was incredible to me.
I think he wanted to die in an awesome way. I think that's how all warriors want to go
That battle was so good because on so many different sides, we cared about the people. Like, you don't want Bronn to die, but the way it's shot and like his coins falling out on the ground, and like I was like, they're gonna kill Bronn right now.
Yeah.
And it was intense. And like you're like rooting for Bronn to win, but also Drogon and Daenerys and the thing. Like you're like, wait, what do I do?
Definitely not. Yeah, no one wants to see a dragon go down, and that was kind of interesting foreshadowing for the season.
All right, what's Jamie's worst moment?
His worst moment? God, I mean, it's hard to top fucking your sister and pushing a kid out a window, right? Like okay, episode 1, season 1. That's maybe, the lowest I've ever thought of him.
Maybe the slight forcing himself on Cersei and Tommen's. Like, that's a pretty bad moment.
That one really hurt me because he'd been on this amazing, incredible arc of doing almost nothing but good things for a long time. And then he kind of took it back a step.
I wish that scene was a little different. But yeah, I think that's probably got to be one of the worst moments.
Yeah.
So I want to bail out of that sadness because I just remembered one more better moment.
Okay.
And I've actually decided that this is his best moment. Okay. When Brienne is paddling away from River Run, and they just give each other those like buddy waves.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's like, peace.
Yeah. Like it's just like the two ships
it.
passing in the night. They're just like, hey. It's like the Spider-Man meme. They're just pointing at each other.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't know why I like that.
It was such a gentleman's thing to do too, because like if he was doing what he was supposed to be doing, he should have been like, go seal off the river.
Yeah,
and stop
me there.
But he's
to
like,
the rampart, soldiers. We have fiends in the quarry.
Yeah, that was rough too, and that happened right after another scene where he kind of took a step back, where he's talking to Edmure
about the cat catapulting the baby.
Oh God, yeah, and how he's like, I would do anything to get back to Cersei, and like that, the fact that after all she's put him through, he's still like would do anything.
Catapulting babies. I'm glad that we arrived at his real worst moment.
Yeah.
Because pushing Bran out the window is pretty bad.
Pretty rough.
Catapulting an infant.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know.
Little worse.
Incestual sex next to your son's corpse, who is the son as a product of incest.
You know, another one of his best moments, even this is like a bad moment for him, but it's a best moment for us, the audience. Him and Cat Stark in the prison cell. Him just like the verbal sparring there. I think that's the best moment from like an acting perspective, or from a
one of them.
It just is so enjoyable
because she's so good too, and they both are just so like righteous in that scene, but on totally different like viewpoints.
Yeah,
amazing.
I love. Yeah, that's another one. So I'm glad we added on another best moment.
I mean, if we went through each season, we could probably find 5 to talk about, but overarching,
yeah. I think we hit the ones we want to hit.
Definitely.
Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is, what do you think that absolute? Let's say everything goes right for Jamie. He's on a hot streak, and he gets the happiest ending. Like, what is your view of his happiest possible ending?
Okay, so you have to get Cersei out of the way, so somehow Cersei dies, but maybe he doesn't have to do it, so he's happier about it. He can just kind of move on. They win the war. He doesn't die. Brienne dies. They go live in Castle Rock together and have kind of beautiful golden-headed babies.
Kind of.
They would be built like her, but fight like young him, something like that. Yeah. Or
got it. His brother's a halfling, his wife's a giant, and he's in the middle.
He's sitting there knitting them scarves while she teaches the kids how to fight. That'd be his beautiful ending.
Okay, you think that's his happiest ending?
That's the happiest I could get.
Okay, I think his happiest ending is actually Cersei admitting she's wrong, giving him. You're just laughing in my face. It's not gonna happen. This is a fantasy. This is the Disney ending. It's like,
even in a fantasy, I can't
Cersei's
imagine that.
like, I'm wrong. I'm bequeathing the throne to Daenerys because I think that she's right. And then they go back to Castle Rock and they raise their child out in the open.
Okay,
the end.
That'd be cute. Yeah.
No. No way.
I mean, the only other thing than like that happy ending is, like I said, he didn't want to be Tywin. He didn't want to be Tyrion. He's not super duper smart. He doesn't want to be a ruler. He's always been like a guy that wanted to be the best at fighting, like the known like the greats, like the Sword of the Morning, and like all the great warriors.
So he wants
of
to be respected throughout history. He
Yeah.
wants to leave behind a legacy.
And like I said, I don't think that it's his place to take out the Night King, but maybe if he took out the undead dragon or something epic like that, like if he dies on the battlefield doing something truly epic, where they can finally write something great in that book where he has all the empty pages in the Kingsguard book, that would be a nice cap to his story if he couldn't, because he does say he wants to die in the arms of the woman he loves. So, I mean, if he dies, but he did something great and he's remembered for it, more so than the Kingslayer thing, that might be his best ending.
His happy ending.
Yeah.
Because like we have to think like, what's a happy ending to us versus a happy ending for him, the character.
Yeah.
So like in what you're saying, like him.
What means the most to
cementing his legacy, like if he knows that he saved Daenerys and he stopped, or he has a pretty good idea that he helped win, and then he dies because of that, that you're right. That is.
If he killed an invalid and people hated him for like 30 years, but then he saved the world in a part, so people loved him for 1,000 years, that'd be pretty dope.
Well, I mean, because like Bran can see all of history now, so Bran can be like, this is why Jamie did this. People like trust him.
Yeah, for sure. They could rewrite a lot of the books.
So maybe that negates some of Bran's. I think Bran's above having emotions about anything or being mad about Jamie pushing him out the window, because that leads him to become the Three-Eyed Raven, and that leads Jamie on his path to become maybe the hero that they need.
Everything had to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
100%.
Okay, what's what do you think what's the saddest ending we could cook up for Jamie Lannister?
Oh man, if he died right there by the mountain being betrayed by Cersei, would have been pretty sad, but that didn't happen. So going forward, I think what will be really sad is if he had to like sacrifice himself in a way that like didn't end up mattering. Like, if he thought he was doing something epic, like he's like a hold the door type moment, but then they don't really get away and everyone dies anyway.
He just watches just like ghosts getting impaled and Sansa getting her head ripped out, like all this.
Brienne just gets shanked by like 30 whites or stepped on by a giant.
Everyone, let's go this way, and they go that way, and they're surrounded, and then just...
They're like, why'd we listen to the fucking Kingslayer? He's such a dumbass. He's like, guys, why? And then just gets hit with like 30 arrows.
I see your sad ending, and I'll raise you a sadder one.
Okay.
He doesn't even make it to the battlefield. He gets to Winterfell. He walks in, hey guys, I'm here to, right my wrongs, contribute, help you guys in the war.
Yeah.
Arya, nope. Slices his throat immediately. He walks
just
in Winterfell, slices his throat immediately with needle, and it's just over for him.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad. Or you just like,
Can you imagine?
Or Nymeria and all the wolf pack just finds him in the Riverlands on the way up north and just like devours his ass and he never even made it. And they're like, wasn't Jamie supposed to help? What a loot. He never shows up for anything.
Yeah, those Lannisters didn't... Huh, weird. I thought the Lannisters were going to show up.
Did that wolf just shit a golden hand?
Cuts to Nymeria just gnawing on that. Yep.
That'd be pretty rough.
Fantastic.
For our boy Jamie.
Okay, so we're gonna eventually answer if we think he's gonna live or die. But let's assume that he lives. That's what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna assume he lives. Does he end up with someone at the end of the show or not? And I think you're heavily campaigning for him to
be with Brienne.
Be Brienne's baby daddy.
Because Brienne emphasizes the thing he never got to be, which was a pure knight who always did the right thing. He maybe doesn't, love her looks, but he loves who she is because she's who he grew up wishing he could have been, and a lot of circumstances got in the way. So I think it'd be beautiful if he could share that love with her and be there for her, because I think she feels it too, despite everyone campaigning for Tormund to get in there and be with her because of the googly eyes. But I think, I'd love for him to end up with her, and for them to have some sort of great moment where, they can at least like fight on the battlefield together, and if he dies with honor. Yeah.
Well, one, you're wrong.
Okay.
Jamie should be stagged the rest of his life with that solo hand. Here's why. Because
he didn't get Theon. Come on.
Brienne belongs with Tormund.
No way.
Can you imagine that?
No. I actually think Tormund should end up with an older version of Lyanna Mormont, because he has that whole bear fucking story.
I'm here for the memes, and Tormund plus Brienne
nice.
is meme central, and I need it. Okay, so you think
you see how disgusted she looks.
Jamie ends up with Brienne. That's what
that's my hope.
Your relationship says.
Yeah, if he earns it.
Okay, I could see him ending up with Cersei, but I think we're on opposite sides of this.
Well, and it's also great for Brienne because she was made fun of for being ugly her whole life. Imagine if she ends up with who is widely known as the most handsome person in the world.
He is a handsome dude.
He really is.
It's a fact.
I mean, you've said it before. He looks like Prince Charming from Shrek. So if Brienne the beauty, quote unquote, ends up with him, and then like she goes back to Tarth and like flaunts him around, everyone's like, "Are you serious? She's with him?
Oh damn!"
You just landed it. Like that'd be really cool for her too.
Just walks back there, just making it rain sapphires everywhere. We're gonna really make this the Sapphire Isles.
Like, remember you wouldn't dance with me? You wouldn't dance with me? I got Jamie fucking Lannister now.
Boo.
Like, suck it.
This booty pays them debts, if you know what I'm saying.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Weird. All right.
Dope.
So let's next thing I want to talk about. Let's get into it. Do you think he's gonna live, or do you think he's gonna die? Ultimately, like if you had to make a bet right now.
Die.
Same.
Yeah.
I think there's no way that he can survive the final season.
No, I mean, it's not that I don't think he could. It's just that I think that George R. R. Martin does foreshadowing better than anyone, and prophecy better than anyone. And one of the main things that he said that I paid attention to was, and I've said it a few times so far, is he said the way he wants to die is in the arms of the woman he loves. And when he's saying it, I think it's season 2 or 3, and he's talking about Cersei, obviously. Like, she's been it for him his whole life. But in the back of his mind, he knows that there's a better person out there who emphasizes what he thinks is right and good in this world. And I think a beautiful end would be him dying after having saved her from like something crazy, like a polar bear, like an undead polar bear, or undead dragon or something. And
he can't save her from 2 bears now.
No, something like that. Yeah, I know. But that'd be kind of a cool juxtaposition.
Jamie only saves her from bears.
Yeah, he's like, goddamn bears! Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. A stag comes to stab her. She can handle that.
She
got Renly killed. She'll get that other deer killed.
I'm getting like shades of Brick Tamlin. Like their menstruation attracts the bears. They can smell the menstruation. Like, why is it always bears?
Poor Brienne.
But something like that where he saves her and everyone sees it and he dies. But she's holding him like he's the damsel in distress almost in the moment. That would be really cool. But yeah, I think that's my prediction.
I also think he dies, but I don't think that it's in whatever battle happens in the north. In my head, I can't see him and Cersei not having one more final conflict. Now, it is kind of juicy. Like, let's say that whatever battle happens in the north, XYZ die, and they have to leave the north and flee back to the south, and they're on the mercy of Cersei. Like, basically, like, please help us. Like, please be a refugee haven for all the northerners that are fleeing. Yeah, kind of thing.
And she builds a wall.
Keeps them out. No, we're not on that. Just kidding. Okay, so she's like all these people from the north have to flee the north because Winterfell has fallen and they killed a lot of the White Walkers, but all their dead become new flesh in the army. That kind of thing. Whatever happens.
That'd be rough.
Whatever happens, but I still feel like there's one more Jamie Cersei interaction. But like if let's say Jamie does die in the north, then when they come back to the south, she's probably going to blame them for Jamie dying. So that might be the tension point that stops her from trying to protect them or have some to be reasonable about like, hey, we need more forces to protect us from the White Walkers. I can't in my head think that the battle ends in the north. Because there's that scene from the House of the Undying that Daenerys sees, and then the scene that Bran sees when he has the sight of the throne room covered in snow.
Or ash.
Yeah, and you can't have that scene without the roof getting blasted off. And how does that happen? There has to be some kind of battle. Now, is that a battle with White Walkers at King's Landing, or is that a battle of Daenerys dragons versus Cersei's forces of the Gold Company?
Or she goes full on Mad King and wildfires the whole place, and he does the same thing he did with Aerys, but with her.
Yeah, and Jamie has to
kill her.
Kingslayer.
That would be amazing. I mean, I really like that. I mean, anyone who knows about the theory, the Valonqar prophecy with her is that she will have 3 kids. They'll all die. Gold will be their shrouds, and gold will be their crowns, and then she'll be strangled to death, basically, by the Valonqar, which is Valyrian for younger sibling. Not necessarily a brother, but she only has brothers, so it could be, people said, oh, it could be Arya, oh, it could be Euron, oh, it could be this person. But the person that it would be the most satisfying arc would definitely be Jamie over Tyrion. And that's why she always feared Tyrion.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with all these happy and sad endings, is that so many people's happy or sad ending is tied up in killing Cersei.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, because Jamie, like if Jamie could stab Cersei, Kingslayer style, the exact same way, and then that leads to the mountain lopping his head off or whatever. But everyone knows that he did the same thing that he did before, but this time it has a different outcome, and he goes down in the history books like we talked about.
Yeah.
And he goes in the Book of the Kingsguard as like he saved everyone from this fate.
Yeah.
So, but in that scene, the roof was already blown off, so she must have already done it. And so I don't know if those are prophecies or potential futures or whatever it is, but like in my head, because 2 different characters saw that, there's no way we're not seeing this scene.
No, and that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it could be because freaking zombie Valyrian, right?
Viserion.
Yeah. Viserion, yeah. Just
White Walker dragon.
Yeah, just blows off
everything.
the thing. I don't know.
Could work. Could happen.
I
hope they don't make it that far.
Why do we think that Jamie can die though? Because I think it's because what we talked about earlier is that
I think he wants to die.
Yeah,
a little bit, and I think he just wants it to be under the right circumstances.
Honorable.
Yeah, and he wants to rewrite his name in the history books. And honestly, if he stopped someone that was as terrible as Cersei, that would be pretty cool end too. I don't know. And for me, I want to see Cersei die, and I want to see the Valonqar prophecy come to fruition, and I want to see it be him. I think what would be really cool is if he's already dying, like when he chokes her to death, so that it would be like his last deed. And so maybe like he gets there and he has to fight Euron or someone who's a pretty like renowned warrior, and he gets his ass handed to him pretty bad, maybe a fatal wound, but he wins the fight. And then he goes in, and the last thing he has to do with his dying breath is kill Cersei to save everyone from this horrible, like, wildfire situation.
But she's pregnant. He's going to murder her with the baby in her?
She's going to lose the baby way before that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that in the Cersei, whatever you think
The
on the Cersei.
prophecy says 3 children, not 4.
You're right.
She can't have another baby.
Well, he kills her before she gives birth.
Yeah, or maybe it's revealed that it's not her baby. Or it's not his baby. It's definitely her baby.
You ready for my darkest one? And I'll probably bring this up again when we talk about Cersei.
Do it.
The baby dies, stillborn inside of her.
Yeah.
And then becomes a White Walker and rips out of her.
That would be brutal. If Guillermo del Toro was directing that episode, I would say yes. My brutal prediction is that the baby comes out stillborn too, and it's a dwarf. Just like Tyrion. So she kind of goes, oh, fuck, I was mean to him my whole life.
That'd make me happy. That'd make me happy. Okay. Yeah. All right, so next question. Is he Azor Ahai? Is that how I say
Azor
it?
Ahai, yeah.
Azor Ahai, okay.
Yeah.
Is he Azor Ahai, yes or no?
There's a lot of evidence for it, but I'll say no.
This is a book thing. This is a book thing, obviously. They haven't... Lord of Light. They've said Lord of Light in the show. They haven't really said Azor Ahai.
Yeah, they say Lord of Light, Prince who is Promised, Stallion that Mounts the World, but all these
they're the same thing.
Things are different iterations of the same thing.
They all Superman. They all Jesus. It's all that one thing.
They are, yeah. And so in this iteration, I mean, one person broke down in Old Valyrian that Azor Ahai loosely translates to Golden Hand. So then there's a huge fire on the internet for a while about that he could be Azor Ahai, and that a lot of it, like born amidst salt and smoke, well, maybe his rebirth was that bath scene we talked about, where he kind of admits who he is, and now he's rebirthed as a character. But Azor Ahai had to kill his wife to get his weapon to become Lightbringer. So what if he's choking Cersei with his golden hand, and then as she dies, it turns to fire, and any sword he touches becomes Lightbringer? Oh man, dope. How epic would that be? But I don't.
That's too fan servicey. Like that. That's like way too like.
It would throw a huge twist in though, because if everyone thinks it's Jon, or everyone thinks it's this person, or everyone thinks it's Dany,
you're right. But
that would be crazy.
I feel like they've always steered away from the more sci-fi elements of it. Like
True.
They have the magic and they have the dragons, but like. They haven't done as much of, they don't have all the Stark kids warging. I feel like they've been they use it in strategic, they're trying to make it less sci-fi and magic-y than fantasy.
Yeah, it's only when it really has to be. I like all the Starks being wargs to some degree, but it's hard for you to describe why Bran is different.
Special,
if they're all, because he's like a super warg and a green seer and all this, and then 3-eyed raven, and they try to make it, but to the people that don't read the books, it's going to be really hard to digest that. But with this, I think it could work, and it would really piss people off in a fun way. And this show doesn't like to pull its punches, so I will not say it's not a possibility. But if I had to put money on it, he's not.
Okay, you'd put money on him not being
Azor Ahai.
Okay,
he has a purpose, but that's not it.
All right, and then to wrap up, let's just talk about some final theories, some other things that you think might happen, because I feel like I would love to see a Jamie, Jon scene where they're fighting back, not necessarily back to back like Rey and Kylo, but a scene where they are the two that are fighting and kicking ass together.
Sure.
I would really like to see that.
I mean, I'd love to see that and add Brienne, the Hound, Bronn, all the best sword fighters.
See, I don't think Bronn's coming to the north.
I think he'll go. I think he'll meet Jamie up there. I don't think he's gonna stick around if Jamie and Tyrion are not there. Who's he gonna serve? Qyburn? And Cersei doesn't even like him. So, and the only person that promised him castle or 2 castles at this point was Jamie. So, yeah, I think, if Ron wants to go north and fulfill his prophecy of taking over the twins one day, because that'd be 2 castles, he has to stick close to the guy who shits gold or whatever with the golden hand. But I like the idea of him going north, and maybe to repent for his sins, he becomes the protector of Bran, because he's not a super great swordsman or whatever anymore. Maybe he can be up on the ramparts and be more of a strategist, and then in dire moments when things are going to hell, he's in the room protecting Bran, because that'd be cool.
Yeah, it is interesting how Jamie has become a legitimately good field commander, it would seem.
Mm-hmm. Well, he learned from the best. I mean, his dad was arguably the best. He's seen things. He's talked with Tyrion. I think he's not as dumb as people think just because he's not as smart as Tyrion. he's definitely not as dumb as people think, and he's been
yeah,
in a lot of
he's by no
wars.
means an idiot, and like like him being able to learn from what Rob did and do the same thing to Daenerys, like that's like such
Brutal.
a great turn. It's like he wouldn't have known that maneuver or known to do that unless Rob owned him like that. So like the Starks ultimately hurting them, like it's incredible. I love that kind of stuff.
Give them a nibble over here so they're not looking to the other side, and then just own them. Like that was so crazy. Like what a twist. Of all the ways people thought Daenerys' like invasion of Westeros was gonna go, no one thought she was just gonna Cersei all these L's.
Like, no one thought that Cersei had a chance. Like you look at the amount of force she had, but then also you meet the Dothraki in the field once and you're done.
Yeah,
like that's
with a dragon.
Yeah,
Jesus. I mean that was the best like way that could have gone. And to go back, I was just really hoping they would stop the gold so that they couldn't pay their debts.
Yeah.
Because now they're going to get the Golden Company.
Yeah.
Like, because, as soon as she pays off her credit card, she's like, can I put a new army on it? Because that's how
We paid off the boots, we paid off the castle, we paid off all the multiple weddings that we had to have. Cause...
You just got decades of Tyrell gold, and your gold mines are dry, and you want to do this like right now. But she's just waiting to clean up the scraps when the whole Great War is over, so she's not going to change that much.
All right. Well, I think we did a good job talking about Jamie.
Hit all the important stuff.
Hit all the good stuff. So
totally.
So we like Jamie.
I like Jamie.
We're wishing good things for him.
Yeah, he's definitely like become a top tier character for me. Like top 10, top 15 that I'm really hoping has a satisfying end. And there's so much written in the stars for him at this point. So much great foreshadowing. So many things he's been through. So many things to repent for and to do good on, and I think the path is there for him to die the way he wants to and be remembered the way he wants to, and I'm really hoping that at least half of the things we talked about today could happen.
Yeah, it's so funny because we're fans, and like there's this thing where they say that when you know the ending of a book, you're more likely to like it than if you get to the end of it and it doesn't end how you expect. So there's just so much tied up, and I think Jamie's a top 5 character, and he people really care about him and are really invested in him. But I think it's weird that both of us were so clearly able to land on he should probably die, but for the good of him and for the good of the story,
I mean, you don't. A character doesn't have to live just because you
for it
like
to be happy.
Them.
And
yeah, like his happy ending could be that he died in a great way,
and honorably. Yeah,
totally. I mean, there's been lots of characters that way. Like, look. Would I like Hodor to be around, saying Hodor, being all Hodor-y? Yeah, but he died in an amazing way that we will never forget.
Yeah, and that episode,
and he served an amazing purpose.
Yeah, so you're right.
That episode was ripped right from George R. R. Martin's unpublished books, apparently. So that's why it was so phenomenal. And I feel like the closer we get to the end, the more minute details will be different in the books, but the big plot points will be the same because they've known them since they started the show, and that makes me really excited as a fan because if any of them are like Hold the Door-esque. We are in for some awesome shit.
Okay, so if you had to bet on me, because we both think Jamie's going to die.
Yeah.
This is the final bet I want to do, the final thing I want to do for the podcast.
All right.
If you had to say what episode Jamie dies in, 1 through 6, where would you throw your dart?
Okay. Well, I do know some things, so I'll share them with you, so it's an even bet. I know...
I don't want to know anything from the internet or any of that stuff.
I know that there's supposed to be an amazing... battle.
I don't know when. I don't want to know nothing. I have zero spoilers.
Well, it's like...
No, don't say anything.
Okay,
just what's your Jamie bet?
Episode 4.
You're going to say 4?
4. That's when I think he will have the best chance of dying in the way that I hope he dies.
Okay. I was also going to say 4.
You son of a bitch.
Yes. that was what I was also... Just because I think that they talked about these being movies. Mm-hmm. Or being not movies, but longer episodes,
length of a movie,
lengthy episodes. So,
I
think if you, and this is kind of going to be for a lot of people. I think we're going to have heavy losses in episodes 3 and 4 because I think you need to clear the chessboard for Jon, Dany, Tyrion, Cersei.
Build the
last
tension.
4. I feel like those last 4 episodes have to be about those 4 people because those are our 4.
And you need wrap up
characters.
Too at the end. You can't just if they cut to black, Soprano style, I'm going to be so mad. I mean, I don't need 19 endings like Lord of the Rings, even though I loved every single one of them.
No,
I don't need them all.
There's too many endings in Lord of the Rings.
But we definitely need a good half of the last episode to be what does the world look like going forward after all
what
this
if it's just all kinds of destruction and then it's just and they lived happily ever after and then it's just Bran turning away from a tree and he was watching it the whole time surf riding the werewood net.
Yeah. Or they're just or like they just land in next to the throne, and everyone just died, and they're like, "Fuck," and then just cuts to black.
just immediate. I love it.
Just credits.
All right, well, that's been the podcast for today. Casey, thank you so much for being here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome time.
I'm Elijah. This is On the Case. The show is sponsored by Altered Reality Entertainment. They've got Epic Comic-Con happening, and that is in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Sweet.
That's going to be in June, which is good. So you can
Oh yeah.
go to the website epiccomiccon.com. You can check out the guest list. Lou Ferrigno is going. Are you?
Oh, the Hulk! Yes, I'll totally be there.
Good.
Of course I'll be there.
Good. All right, well, thank you guys for listening. We will be back with another character. Do we want to say who we're going to do next? You want to choose right now? Just select?
You know what?
I'm kind of feeling Gendry.
Gendry?
I just saw it.
Gendry sounds good to me.
all right.
Let's get our Baratheon on.
Next week it's Gendry.
Gendry.
All right. Bye.